Welcome to Oracle of Wisdom. I'm your host, Superhuman. Today we'll be diving into a very considerate topic of digital grave of mine and yours. The digital grave that we are ourself making for ourselves and for others to see. The life we're gonna live forever, eternity. It is the intersection between life and death. In between that, we're gonna reside forever. This is going to make you reconsider what we already know. But by which angle we know, you will be reconsidering everything about it. The digital grave immortality that we have created already for ourselves. Not that we have to create, we already have created the immortality. How we see it will be reconsidering again. It's a very tricky topic that we are not seeing in different angle. Imagine you're just scrolling down a feed of Facebook, TikTok, or any other social media platform. Just scrolling down. All of a sudden, you stumble upon a feed of one of your friend, relative, closed one, or a person who you just remotely know. But that person is dead now. It can be a feed that was scheduled for after that time, or it's an old post. You just see that. So you are confronting a digital ghost of that person. That can stimulate different kind of emotions for different kind of people with relative to their relationship to that person, the situation they are sitting into. But whatever you're going to go through at that time, it can be comforting to you or it can be very unsettling. And when I say unsettling, it can be very very unsettling for some people, for the to see the ghost of that person, because actually you are going to see a digital ghost of the person who has gone already. How do you feel about that? Imagine yourself in that, and you will be going through those situations again and again, because it's not only one person's ghost you will be seeing. I will tell you how many ghosts are there online and how many are going to be in the next decade. Imagine the ghosts you are aware of, people you are already aware of, and you know them personally, closely. How would you feel about that? What kind of goosebumps you will have when you see them live moving in front of you in a feed? So today we'll be discussing further about the digital mausoleum, means a digital grave of our own feeds, messages, posts, tweets, emails, pictures, selfies we are taking, videos we are making, that digital grave that we have created ourselves. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing for us to be creating these memories or digital haunting costs? How it's going to affect us, that is what we're going to discuss. Is it going to be beneficial for the future? Is it beneficial for us? Because there are so many implications. Don't just jump over to the conclusion right now until you have heard everything what I'm about to say. Don't jump to the conclusion, because you will come to a realization after that at the end of this podcast, this small episode, that you don't know and you're not considering a lot of things when we're talking about the digital grave and its implications in a positive or in a negative. How people are using this already for a good and for a bad purpose. See that. So let's talk about what is digital immortality. You think it's just your material online sitting there that anyone can access, maybe you can see after we are dead? That's what you're thinking. I'm right. And in fact, you can't think anything more than that. Apart from that, someone can use your data. But how? It is not just merely that some Facebook pages are living there, just anyone can scroll down your Facebook pages or some profiles of yours or your emails. No, it is gone way beyond that. Think of that. There is a company, one of the companies, not one, many companies, one of them is a attorney.me. What they are doing is they are offering services that they can create a digital avatar of you, of using your remaining data online. All the pictures, email, data, text, and your loved one can use that avatar to connect with you. Can you think of a bizarre thing than that? For some, it is a very good thing, but you have to see both aspects, the good and the bad. Why do you think that you would want to have an online avatar apart from that you are a very memorable personality? But think as a normal person of billions of people who are online and sitting there. They are not celebrities, and their lives are not like to be memorable after they are dead. And when you see your loved ones once they are gone, once you see them again, you are gone into a trauma. You're not living a normal life then. How it's going to affect you? A lot of companies are offering these services. You should search over it. What they are doing, they are offering that they will create an avatar of you to make you memorable forever with all your data. That's another step that we'll be discussing what's going to happen then. But is it a legit thing to be done? Is it a positive thing? A lot of people say it is very positive, but most of the people say, is it a dystopia for the dead, that where they cannot rest in the grave? They will be lingering between the living and the dead forever. And for the relatives who will see them when they are online available all the time, what will happen? They will not be able to move on. And as you know, humans have to forget. That is why there is a tendency to forget the memories. You will have memories because you get instigated by some points to remember a certain person. But if that memory comes again and again, you are not able to move on. That means that's a very dangerous thing for a normal human to live a normal life. If one person's relative is gone, for example, if my parents are gone forever, if I keep seeing their pictures every day, 10 times a day, or I keep hearing their voices, seeing their emails and everything, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to be traumatized again and again and again. And this is how psychological experiment works. They start traumatizing you with the same thing again and again and again. And you see that as a reality. That means you are never able to move on into the real world. So imagine the effect of that digital immortality on your loved ones. Don't just see it as a fun way. Think how now, think that how the normal human life will be stopped or halted at the same level. What a normal person can, because there is a beauty of life of that is called moving on. What happens is when you're moving on, you're creating new things in life. That as a collective, all billions of people create so many things. But if you're stagnant at the same place just because of this digital immortality, and you keep getting remembrance of certain people, and you are not able to move on in life, and you're not able to perform as a normal human being, what's going to happen after few hundred years of life? Our civilization is going to go towards destruction. That's one part of it. Let's see the ethical dilemma. What is that if your digital material, your data is the new oil? Because right now you've seen that last few decades the fight was all over the world because of the oil, but nowadays data is the new oil, because based on data all the IT industries are just moving forward and growing businesses. It's all about data. But if your data is the new oil, then your digital footprint actually is a gold mine. But who owns that after you are gone? It is your data actually, it is my data actually, but who owns it? That means few companies, whatever they decide to do, they do with it, or this is the way it's going to be. How do you perceive that? Is it the right of your parents, your family members to own it? For example, you, me, everyone has a personal life. Everyone has a very, very, you can say, a kind of a life that we don't want others to know. And I believe so, as a human, we all live that part, because there are certain sections of life, that is why we call it a private life. So for example, after I die, what's going to happen with my emails, with my data, with my private pictures, with my uh, inbox? Who's going to own it? Is it the right of my family to have it, access it, or does it belong to me after I'm dead? How does it work? We cannot define that, especially in this current age, especially where there is a freedom of freedom of access to data. Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do, whatever you own. So, but actually, what happens to my things actually, that we don't define. Let me tell you a very dark secret or dark reality, not secret, because it's a real thing outside in the real world. You will be amazed to hear that a lot of parents whose children die, they create a digital avatar, AI structure of their children to talk with them. What do you think? Is it a easy way to deal with grief, or it is a very dark way to go into denial? Very opposite things. If you are on this side of conversation, you think that okay, they are just coping with the grief, they are able to talk with their children. But if you're on this side of conversation, what you're gonna see is a denial again. They will never be able to move on. They will be stuck in that grief. Here they are trying to cope with their grief. Here they're stuck with that. They're sticking themselves into that part of the grief forever, and they cannot move on. Where they could have created so much new life, because that was a disaster by the nature, and this is what we live with. So this is a very dark side of digital immortality. The concept of digital ghosts with our cultural clash. The digital ghosts will keep existing and they will keep changing the forms, just like a ghost. They will keep changing the forms. There are going to be different debates over the time where you will see different digital avatar of different people being used. There is a concept of afterlife in certain religions. And if we have a afterlife already, not in the religious sense, but in the digital form, what's going to happen? This is going to spark so many debates over the period of lifetime and so many lawsuits, because of religious people and technological people will be on the opposite side of the domains. They will see that the religious people will see it is against their cultural and religious beliefs, and digital technology will say that it does not harm the cultural belief. But there is another dangerous side of this one that we are not aware, because with the help of deep fake technology, what's happening is, or what is already happening, that a deceased actor or a famous personality can be shown using a product that they never used or they never endorsed. And the same way, a deceased politician or a very good political figure that is already deceased can be shown endorsing and talking about topics that they never wanted to endorse, they never wanted to insist on. So where do we draw the line about this? How do we know that this is the end line for this one? Because this is just the beginning of AI, and AI is the best thing till today that happened to human. As an IT student, I can understand that. As an IT person, I love that part. But everything comes down to ethics and boundary lines. But where do we draw and who draws it? We still don't know that. That is just the beginning. As Elon Musk say that he is also scared of AI, that they have released AI in a very early stages. So how do we cope up with that boundary line? We don't, because it's still gonna go to few decades before we enforce it under the boundaries of law. The technological push that we have to look for, that who is creating these online ghosts and what is the extent they're going to go to, who's deciding that which boundary we should, which route we should take, who is the lawmaker on this one, who is the one deciding that it should be done or not, who is deciding in the today's world? These are the tech giants, the startup tech giants, technical companies, and the governments back backing them up, because of the new frontier in form of war technology and in the race of going forward than others. But in that race, what they are forgetting, there is a law of death and life, that we are forgetting, that we should be moving on, because in the psychological forms and in psychological terms, we are forgetting that there is a pathway to stop mourning the deads and moving on. If we forget about that, and the new generation is going to keep going on under the stress of digital mourning, they will be stuck in a dilemma. What will happen? They will never be able to live a normal life that we have seen. They will be a digital form of avatar. Their mind will be created around a certain dilemma. They will never be able to outgrow anything. So, what do you think? Are we moving on to a new world where we will never be saying goodbye to this world and we'll be living in this forever in the form of our digital form always? Or we are forming a digital trajectory that where no one will be able to find a peace? Neither you, neither me, nor any of us will be able to having a peace, nor the dead, nor the living. No one will have a peace forever. That means we all gonna be living forever without any peace, because once the lifetime lesson was the peace is after death, even if it's not in this world, after the death side. But nowadays the world is moving towards a form where we're never gonna have peace. So what are your thoughts on that? All I can say is thankful. I'm very much thankful to this digital era, but guys, stay haunted because we're all gonna be haunted with the digital avatars and digital forms of the death and deaths. Thank you very much. Please subscribe, comment, and share, and give your thoughts about this living era that we are living in and what's the impact is gonna be. What do you think? Thank you very much.